I'm looking on the ground and I'm like, what is all that stuff on the ground, right? And I'm looking at these dark patches on the ground. So I turn my flashlight on and it's blood. There's blood all over the place on the walkway down from the garage. And I'm like, what is up with that? And he's like, well, this guy stabbed his cousin and then took his own daughter hostage. Used her as a human shield with a knife to her. Negotiator's on the phone with this guy, and he's not really making a lot of sense. He wants to talk to his girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. He's got his daughter in there with him, and we can hear her through the wall, right? We can hear her. Sometimes she's screaming, sometimes she's crying, sometimes she's laughing. So we don't know what is going on in there, right? And this goes on for, the negotiators are on the phone with him for a while. And then finally the decision's made, like, we have to get in there because it's starting to go south in negotiations. I'm looking in this window. It's got blinds on it. You know, negotiations are going south. We lose comms with the guy. So finally, we're like, we got to get comms with this dude. So we're going to put a throw phone in. So we put a throw phone. A throw phone's like a box. It's got a phone in it, so the negotiators can talk to the dude. And so we put that in there. My buddy rips the blinds out. When we rip the blinds out, there's the dude again. I can't see him because I can only see like half the room, and he's in the right corner of the room, and I'm over this fence. And the window guys are yelling at him to drop the girl, drop the knife, you know, they get him all the commands, and he's kind of working his way along the wall. He's got her around the waist, so he would hold her up above, you know, so they can't get a shot. And so he's moving his way across the wall, and then he moves his way across this wall and ends up in this corner. Sits down and pulls her up over the top of him. And so the window's on the same wall as this corner, and I can't see any of this stuff. I'm the sniper team leader, so I work my way around, and I get to this gate. I'm like, they called fire priority to the window team. I'm like, I'm on the wrong team, right? So, because there's like 6 dudes at the window, and nobody's shooting. I'm like, why in the F are these guys not shooting? My sniper rifle's it was a gas-operated 308, and lowest power on the scope was 4.5. And I told the admin years ago, I'm like, I need lower power because it's going to be close probably when it does happen, and sure enough, it was. So I get up on this ladder and I put my face against the wall, and I can just see through the sliver. I can see him sitting, and I can see her sitting in his lap basically, and he's got his arm around her. And so, and the team keeps giving him commands, and I'm looking at this shot, and I'm evaluating what's going on, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to shoot him left-handed. And I'm thinking lowest power is 4.5. So I do an optic check on the wall. I'm like, that ain't going to work. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to shoot him with my pistol.
When you say optic check, it's because it's moving too much?
No, because
too much magnification?
too much magnification. So there was a picture, something on the wall. So I brought my rifle up and looked at it. I'm like, that ain't going to work. It was just blurry. It's 4.5 power. The shot's only 11 feet, like 12 feet, 11 feet.
God.
So 6 guys standing at the window that have the right tool, right? Because they all have their assault rifles. And so the first guy, and it just happened to be the guy that we pulled off the ladder. I'm like, give me your rifle. He's like, what? I go, give me your rifle. So we swap rifles, and he says HK 416. And the reason that he said that was because on an HK 416, if you flip the safety twice, you go to full auto, right? So don't want to do that in a precision environment, right? So I'm like, roger that. And so I got up, and the window's broken at this point. So when you step up to the window, you're literally walking on broken glass. Okay, so I step up, pop, 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 pop. The glass all pops underneath my feet. And I push the rifle. I got to shoot left-handed, right? So I push the rifle in, and I come around the corner. Now the rifle butt is in my bicep with somebody else's rifle, right? But I know this rifle is zeroed because it has to be zeroed, because to get through my qualification a month earlier, it had to be zeroed, right? So I knew that things were good.
Does this guy know you're there?
I don't know, because he was, who knows what kind of mental state he was in, and I was trying not to be too, that's why I didn't turn on any lights or anything. So I come around the corner again, and I look in there, I'm like, okay, I got the right brightness, but it's too close, right? Like her head was like an inch, because what I'm looking at is this. So like this is the back of her head. I'm looking at his eyeball. She's, of course, looking at me. and it's close. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. So I'm waiting, and then he moves his head back. Right, I'm like, okay, 2.5 inches of mechanical offset, but his hair, his face is all covered in hair, like this giant mop of hair. So I couldn't see the geography of his face at all. Like I'm going, I want to put it in his eyeball, but I can't see it. Right, so I'm just going by the curvature of his forehead. I know I got to aim 2.5 inches over that. So I put it up there. Safety's off. Fingers on the trigger. It's a 2-stage trigger. So I took the first stage out. Here I go. I remember saying that. And then when I'm working on rifle stuff, it's kind of an audible exhale. So right. So that's my concentration guidance. So I put it up 2.5 inches over where I wanted to hit. 2 stages out. Here I go. And the shot broke, and the rest is history. So